How do you think this graph would look different if the Earth's tilt was 33.5 degrees instead of 23.5 degrees? Well, let's first take a look at what would happen if there was no tilt. If there was no tilt, then every place on Earth would have an equal amount of day and night as the Earth rotated. This dotted line, which is right about where we live, 43 degrees north, that dashed line or dotted line right there, notice that it spends the same amount of time at night as it does during the day. So as the Earth rotates around and we spin into daytime and spin into nighttime, if there was no tilt, we would have 12 hours of daylight and 12 hours night. The same would be true about any other place such as the equator on the Earth. 12 hours a night, 12 hours a day. Buenos Aires would have 12 hours of daylight and 12 hours of nighttime. But the Earth is obviously not tilted. It's tilted 23.5 degrees. And because of this tilt, look at where we live. So here's Rochester, New York is along that line. So as we rotate, we have a much longer daylight, sometimes upwards of 14, 15 hours of daylight, and a much shorter nighttime, sometimes maybe only 9, 10 hours of nighttime. So the daylight is longer and the nighttime is shorter. And you could see that on that graph. If we we can see that on the graph here. Here we have much longer daylight in the summer months. But if we look at the 6 months after that, we still have our tilt. The Earth is still tilted, but now instead of being tilted towards the sun, it's tilted away. And now the amount of time that we spend in daylight is short, and the amount of time that we spend in nighttime is much longer. So we see that in the graph here when we look at our winter months, that we have a much shorter amount of daylight. All right, let's answer our question. What if the Earth, instead of being tilted 23.5 degrees like it is here, let's tilt it a little bit more to 33.5. So there's a tilt of 23.5, 33.5 degrees. And notice, keep your eyes right here in this section. We've got 23.5 degree tilt to a 33.5 degree tilt. 23.5, 33.5. Notice that this nighttime gets shorter. So we're going to have a much shorter amount of nighttime and a much longer amount of daytime. And 6 months later, that would switch. We'd have a much longer amount of nighttime and a shorter amount of daytime. I hope that helps you answer the question.